And on behalf of the mentorship program, I'm Rakhee Mallik. I'm the national chairperson for the mentorship program. And I'm very, very excited about today's discussion because it's a topic which is very close to my heart, which is mentoring, the role of mentors in creating greater impact. So welcome to one and all, and I'm hoping that you'll take something away from the discussion today. We have an august line of speakers, as some of you might have heard the friendly banter that Harish and Ravi and I were doing. And it's not like we've known each other forever. We've got in touch a couple of days back, and just such a wonderful set of people to interact with. So I'm really hoping that this is just the beginning of a journey and association with the two of you. And as we move forward, we get to do a lot more sessions with both of you individually and together on the panel. Just for everybody's reference, IMA's Young Leaders Council has come up with the mentorship program 2.0, which means we are looking at working around our mentorship program in a more rejuvenated way, with access to more mentors, a lot of fireside chats, mentor-menting, tips. As things open up post-COVID, we're also hoping that we could run certain in-person sessions. So a whole bevy of things that we've put together for the mentorship program. So if you've not signed up as a mentor or as a mentee, I hope that after you go through the session, you get enough insight into the value of mentoring and are able to join the IMA YLC mentorship program. So without much ado, let me try and get this started. We're still waiting for one of our panelists to come in. But before that, let me introduce Dr. Ravi Gundlapalli, who's joining us at 4:30 a.m. all the way from US. And he's basically the CEO of an organization called MentorCloud. And he's also the author of the book called The Art of Mentoring. And I'm sure some of you would have read that book as well. MentorCloud is really a cloud-based mentoring platform for people, within across companies and people who have professional associations and they want to learn from each other. He's a globally recognized thought leader on mentoring and learning, and he's often invited as a speaker on global forums and conferences like the Future Now conference in New York, World Women Summit, Horace's Asia meeting, which happened in India and has happened in the US, Global Diaspora Forum in Washington, DC. And I understand Mrs. Clinton invited him personally for this particular forum. And he's also featured in a lot of publications that we know about, Huffington Post, Forbes India, Forbes International, my favorite, Harvard Business Review. And of course, like I mentioned, he's the author of the book, Art of Mentoring. Very happy to share with you that Ravi is going to be sharing a digital copy of his book. So once we get through with the session, we will be sharing a digital copy of his book with all YLC members and mentors. So I'm very excited to go through the book. Prior to founding MentorCloud, Dr. Ravi was leading a supply chain solution for a large enterprise client, and he's worked with the likes of Boeing 787 Dreamliner, Raytheon, Hitachi Global Storage, and he mentors a lot of entrepreneurs and professionals in the US, India, and a lot of people who are in the Silicon Valley. And there's a very interesting story about one of the individuals that he mentored, and I'm not going to talk about it now. Ravi, probably when we get the session started, I might ask you to talk a little bit about the special mentee that you had and how you've made him successful. So welcome to the panel today, Ravi. Okay, our next speaker is Mr. Harish Mehta, the young, handsome gentleman here that you see. He's a certified banker from Indian Institute of Bankers, is now a motivational speaker, and he's a certified leader, business executive coach, and he's done it from action coach. And there are a baby of other wonderful qualifications he had. He's certified in the law of attraction, certified in DLI from Tony Buzan. He's a mind map trainer, John Maxwell coach, teacher, trainer, and a speaker. So everything and anything that you can talk about in terms of a prolific speaker, Harish has all of those qualifications, plus loads of industry experience on his side. And he has 36 years of experience in the public sector, and he's worked in the private sector as well, and in really senior management role. And of course, he also plays a role of mentoring leaders across industries and working with them from time to time, making them successful. And of course, there are a lot of other good things. He's a global facilitator for the Adding Zeros system, and specifically in the 5 disciples, transforming companies, resulting sustainable practices, and so on. So welcome to the session, Harish. I'm really looking forward to our interaction today. And our third panelist for the day is Ajay Nahar, who I'm personally very proud of introducing today. He happens to be one of my very long-term colleagues, friends who I interviewed and hired very, very long time back. And we started our careers at McKinsey. So very excited to have him here. Ajay is a Wipro Insights leader and also happens to be the YLC National Mentors Ambassador. So a lot of what you will see in the mentorship program happening, Ajay has, a very strong role to play. He's a knowledge leader with 2 decades of experience in GIC's market intelligence, business research, and he's also responsible for building some very novel ideas around capability building, global, programs, how to work around global teams and build their capability. And he's really had a long journey around, working in operations, financial management, and now, coaching is something which is close to his heart. And he also happens to be a IMR mentor who's seen the whole mentoring program in reality. He's worked with mentees. So it'll be very exciting to see what he has to talk about, coming out of his experience in the whole business of mentoring. So thank you to all 3 of you, and welcome to the session. We'll spend about 50 minutes and have a Q&A session. Then we're going to open it up for questions from the audience. Some of the questions were shared with me earlier, and we could start with those. Otherwise, about sports, music, across sectors, across geographies, and so on. The one thing which stands out for all of them is that they've had great mentor or mentors at some point of their career, at some point of their journey, and their mentors have been a tremendous support in making them successful, right? So with that thought in mind, I'd really like to delve a little bit further, and let me first ask you, Ravi, when you talk about mentoring, why do you really need a mentor, right? I mean, at the heart of the whole program, at the heart of everything we're talking about, why do you really need a mentor?
First of all, thank you for inviting me, and really appreciate IMA as well as the YLC program that you're encouraging this kind of interactions to create the next generation of leaders for India. I'm really honored, and it's really nice that we have over 140 people at 6 o'clock on a Friday evening who are interested in this. This doesn't happen in the US. Believe me, if we had an event or having something with families, but this shows the kind of hunger for learning, which is what India is all about. So really thanks to all the organizers to organize these kind of sessions. So the question I would like everybody to reflect on is, who is thinking about your career when you are sleeping? So just think about it, because when you're sleeping, your body is growing, the earth is moving at 60,000 miles an hour through space. But is your career growing? Is your voice growing? Is your amplification growing? Whatever you're trying to do. And if the answer is no, that means you absolutely need a mentor. You need someone who is thinking about how to take Ravi's vision to the next level. Who should Ravi talk to? What should Ravi be doing? What should Ravi be not doing? What kind of book should Ravi write? If that is happening when you're asleep, that's exactly what you need to amplify whatever you're doing. So whoever is still thinking why you need a mentor, is just for that reason, to be in the minds and conversations of other good, successful people when you yourself are not there.
So thank you so much, Ravi. I really like the whole idea of, who's thinking about you while you're sleeping, right? I mean, a lot of people associate, mentors to be a completely formal construct, something which is handed down to you. But I think the larger context of mentoring is that, anybody could be a mentor. Anyone who has the right intent, your right interest and heart is really somebody who qualifies to be your mentor. So thank you for that. So Harish, what do you think? Why do we really need mentors? What is your
value of mentoring? Is it brings a mature perspective It brings a mature perspective into your life, which is not yours. I repeat, the value of mentoring is it brings a mature perspective into your life that's not yours. And that gives you a solution, an answer for life. Why do we need mentors? I think that sums it up. And yesterday I was listening to John Maxwell, and I noted down this statement so that I could mention it here. Why are gurus there? Gurus are there so that you can listen, learn, grow, and finally lead. It's very important for all of us to understand. We did not do anything more than what we did in school, college, and the uni, and thereafter postgraduate. What did we learn new? And you go into a job, how often the leader in the organization has time to teach you, to mentor you, to ask you, how keen are you to know more, learn more, grow more, and become more? It's very important, Rakhee. I am sorry to say, I learned it late in my life. At 53, I unlearned everything I knew and learned again, and from the great people in the world, because they have done it, seen it, been through it, and they can show you the path, provided you are hungry to listen, learn, grow, and become the person you were born to be. Isn't it? And today, Rakhee, I'm proud to say, I invest almost 3 hours in listening, learning from these gurus, and sharing this knowledge, this wisdom around the world. And now that I'm in Ahmedabad, I'm doing a program tomorrow for 200 people, sharing this wisdom of how to address your today, tomorrow, and make a better person of yourself before you leave this world. So that's my way of saying it, and I'm proud to say that. Thank you.
Rakhee ma'am, we can't hear you. Is it only me?
Yeah, we can't hear her.
Sorry, can you hear me now? Is it clearer now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, super. So thank you for that, Harish. I think you've summed it up very beautifully. And let me ask you, because you've been through this journey of learning and unlearning, right? Is it important for us to choose mentors who are in the same line of business that we are in? Because this is a question I'm asked very often, that, I have a formal mentor in my organization. What value could somebody else possibly bring to me? So what do you think is the right construct in terms of choosing your mentor?
Rakhee, it's very simple. Every business is there to make profits. You may be in any industry in the world. At the end of the day, you need to have customers. You need to have a product, be it a service or a product, and which can be marketed, sold, and you can count your pennies every day. We are in the business of speaking, coaching, mentoring, teaching. So we need to have the right people who are willing to listen, learn, and grow. And we know for sure he needs this value addition into his life, which he does not have today. Ravi, in his last so many years, he's been talking about this because he has a desire to create that environment for people which they don't have it. And that's why they are willing, they are able, they are investing their money to become the person they could not become without this knowledge. So I'm so proud to share this. You need a coach. You need a mentor. It's not just for cricket. That sums it up. And you need a long time. Ravi Shastri was 4 years. They won so many World Cups or didn't win any, but they built a great team. Every business owner, every professional today needs a person to take him on the journey to greatness. He cannot do it on his own. That sums up. That sums up.
Right. And this is really agnostic of what industry or what sector you're working in, right? There are people who want to know whether, when they're working with their family businesses or, when they're setting up their own startups, is it relevant in their context? And I feel very strongly that it's relevant in every context, like you said, So, it's often said that,
Rakhee, I'll just share with you. It is about the emotional connect in every activity that you do. And that makes a difference in the outcome. It's all the results that matter, not about the process.
True.
It's the results that matter. And today, each one of them is busy giving reasons.
True. That's true.
So get out of that zone, take up ownership, accountability, and responsibility to deliver results. And get out of blame, excuse, and denial and justifying the whole world why it did not happen.
Right.
That's my story, and I have to share it.
Yeah, Dr. Ravi, please go ahead.
Yeah, if I can add to that, mentorship is, access to a caring human being and access to wisdom. So in my book, I talk about each of us surrounding ourselves with what I call your personal board of mentors. So you would need at least one mentor in your industry, somebody who has been there, done that. So especially, there was a question on family businesses. You cannot learn about family business from somebody who has been in the corporate world, because the dynamics that you go through or the person has gone through. So always have a mentor in your area of in discipline, and have someone who can help you make the right decisions. And that person can come from any industry, doesn't matter. Have someone who can take care of your personal well-being. So we all need to surround ourselves with 2 to 3 different people who are all caring about our overall well-being. So it is very important to have at least one from your industry.
Fair point. And I have to add to what both of you were saying, and I resonate with both your points. I've had mentors who were a part of my industry, but were not specifically working in the realms of HR. And I got a lot of value working with them, because they taught me a lot of things related to leadership, to just the running of the organizations. And then I've had mentors who had nothing whatsoever to do with the industry whatsoever. There were people who were in the arts, but they inculcated a different kind of value system. They inculcated a very different kind of perspective of, how to take my career forward, especially as a woman leader. I think mentoring was something that really helped me. The right mentors at the right time created a lot of impact. And so it's often said, Dr. Ravi, that, the mentors are like a GPS. So is that something which resonates with you? What does it really mean?
Yeah. Interestingly, this question keeps coming up. What is the difference between a mentor and a coach? And so I absolutely agree that, a mentor is your GPS. He is not the driver. You are the driver. Just like the GPS helps you get to where you need to go based on the wisdom that it has on the traffic conditions, on the weather conditions. A mentor is there to help you based on the wisdom the mentor has. Okay, so when somebody is sharing their wisdom and giving you directions based on what they have been through and what you should do and what you should not do because something in the prior context has not worked for them, is being your GPS. And someone who can say if there is a traffic jam, how GPS reroutes. A mentor can also tell you how to reroute your whether entrepreneurial journey or your working journey, because they have been through those situations. But coaching is about tapping into somebody's genius. So if somebody is asking you questions, Ravi, where would you like to go today? Why would you like to go there? What is it in your heart that tells you that you should go to the temple versus university or to the cinema. So when somebody is extracting the genius out of you, they are coaching you. When somebody is giving their wisdom to you based on their background, they're mentoring you. And a lot of people sort of confused with training also. When somebody is teaching you driving, hold your steering wheel here, hold the how to change gear here, that's the person. So when somebody is teaching you a skill, that's pretty much training. When somebody is helping you to get to a destination based on their wisdom, they're mentoring you. And somebody is pulling your genius out, they're coaching you. You're on mute again.
Yeah, I think it's a beautiful simile that you've given, right? In terms of the driver versus somebody who's taking you to the destination versus somebody who's actually teaching you the core skills. I did see a very nice comment that Mr. Somdua put in saying, your mentor is really somebody who has the skills and the competencies to take you to the better end of whatever you can achieve. So, Harish, let me ask you this. Then, are there things that distinguish a good mentor from a bad mentor? I mean, one school of thought is there are no bad mentors, right? But the reality is that there are, right? A lot of mentors are not really clear about their skill gaps or what they are not doing right. So what do you think are 2 or 3 things that distinguish or show that who is a good mentor?
A person who is frank and says the truth, and which helps the mentee to conquer that space which was not available to him earlier. Because of his not being aware. Number 2, because of he felt scared. Can I? Will I? Should I? And finally, the person who has done it, seen it, knows it more, emphasizes it better, and makes you feel, yes, he is right. I need to do it this way. I'll share with you. 10 years back when I went for my coaching program with Brad Sugars, the first thing that he told me, Harish, remove your clothes of being a CEO, being a da-da-da-da-da, and enter the room with the intention to listen, learn, and become the coach that you have come for. So what is important is unrobe yourself and then enter that zone. And never ever say, I was the best banker in the country. Who you were doesn't matter anymore. Who you are and who you will create out of the people you connect with is your value. And people look at value, not at price. And people who ask for price don't know value. I'm very clear on that. Somebody asked me, how much do you charge for 2 hours? I said, whom am I serving? Am I serving a CEO or the leadership team or the management team or the supervisors? I don't serve supervisors. Make it clear. So your value is what you are giving. And the person, if he can absorb that, creates value for himself by recreating that to the world. And this is a great relationship, a mentor-mentee relationship, because he needs to understand that this gentleman or this lady who's giving me this program knows more which I did not know. And I need to respect that. Not say, I know. I'm reminded of this beautiful quote which I use. I say, I know what you know, and I also know what you don't know. Do you need to know what you don't know, or you're happy knowing, I know? So you got the answer. A person who's willing to listen, learn, grow, understand, and he will lead. I promise you. And that comes from here and here. It doesn't come from outside. That's my story. And I'm happy to share it with you.
I completely second what you're saying. It's if you do not know your own gaps, if you do not know your blind spots, I don't think you can help anybody else as a mentor. And I think that's a great learning for all the mentors or people who want to take on roles of mentors. I see Ajay has joined. Ajay, welcome to the session today. We started without you, but I hope that the Zoom issue is sorted now. Yeah. So you want to say something? Go ahead. Ajay, I think you're on mute. Okay, so I'm just trying to sort.
Yes, thanks, Rakhee. And yes, I was just having a challenge unmuting myself. Well, I've been part of the fabulous conversation, from the start, and really amazing examples and ideas shared by Harish and Ravi so far. I think I'd just like to add a couple of perspectives here. One mistake which a lot of us make, and probably early on in our careers, is that uh, coaching or a mentorship, is for the feeble or for the, uh, uh, under, I would say, educated, or, people who feel underconfident, of themselves. But if I am well educated, well experienced, well skilled, then why do I need uh, mentoring, or why do I need coaching? And I think I'd just like to point out that you might be the swiftest hunter in the forest, but you need you need a mentor as your coach, as your margdarshak, over there, to really let you see the light in the dark forest, and see, just be able to accept your surroundings around you, and then allow you to make your choices. I think that's a very important one. And I think the second perspective is about the mentor helping you seeing those blind spots, which Harish also just mentioned. Now, we all understand that there is a small or large part of our personality that is not known to others, not known to ourselves. Classic Johari window. But I think the more we are able to have that trusted relationship with a good mentor, he helps you minimize, that not known to self, not known to others quadrant, part of your, Johari window. And I personally feel that the more you become vulnerable, the more you become open to your mentor, the better that relationship gets over a period of time. And you start really becoming, more cognizant, of yourself. And that cognizance actually creates more choices, for you.
Thank you, Ajay. And I'm going to come back to that great point that you had about nurturing the mentoring relationship, which I think is a very, very critical point, and I want to touch on it, but in a minute from now. While I have you on the screen, Ajay, you've been an IMA mentor, YLC mentor for the last year and a half, and you've firsthand seen what kind of relationships work when you're a mentor who's not really directly working with somebody or not in the same industry, or for that matter. So let me ask you two things. One, coming out of your experience as a mentor, what do you think has been your greatest learning? And secondly, how do you think you have benefited as a mentor with coming out of your discussions, your relationships with the mentee?
Rakhee, my favorite management thinker, Simon Sinek, famously puts this as true mentorship is not a one-way street. As I said, it's a relationship you cultivate over a period of time. And when you align yourself to someone, it's not something I feel you can do with a total stranger. You really need to know that person, well over a period of time, and then either there is an active recognition, or at least there is a passive recognition that yes, I look up to this person as a mentor, and that mentor also starts looking at you as someone whom he likes working with. I take this role of a mentor very, very seriously. And to your question on what have I learned from my experience at IMA YLC, a few things. One is the energy and enthusiasm of my mentees has always pushed me to become a better version of myself. The fact that you're working with people who are younger than you, much younger than you at times, part of the so-called Generation Z, the millennials, I think it just pushes you to ensure that you really remain at the top of your game all the time. The fact that you need to tune yourself to the needs of each mentee ensures that you can't simply just rest on your past laurels or feel that a particular topic or a particular session went well and then I can replicate it the same way for everyone else. Unfortunately, that's not going to work. So you always push yourself harder, and that's one thing that I've started doing with each of my subsequent mentees, and I'm personally liking that, liking to be in that space. Second is, you improve your problem solving ability, your problem structuring ability, in the first place. So it's one thing, to theorize and then offer your advice as a consultant. And I know you and I have been for long, part of the consulting industry. So we can always share a joke or two about, the consulting world. But it's another, thing to hold someone accountable and to hold yourself accountable for their success. You get to work on real life business problems, and I think when you really put a lot of that that advice to practice, and you hold each other accountable to it, you hold each other's hand through that journey, I think you really start seeing some uh, difference to your life as well as someone else's life. The third thing I've observed over here is that as you progress through your career and get past that critical uh, experience point or point of age in your career where you feel you have a need to either pay it back or pay it forward, one thing I can tell you, you can never pay it back. You can only pay it forward. And this has been one of my most beautiful experiences, where you realize that you're making a difference to someone's world. You may just make that difference to one person out of probably countless many, but to that one person's world you're actually making a difference. If you are being true to yourself, you are being true to them. I've learned a great deal from my mentors. I've learned a great deal from thinkers, philosophers, leaders around me, teachers in my career. Some continue to do that good work. Some have retired since, and some are unfortunately no longer there anymore. And you want to pay back that learning with that same level of gratitude, but the circle of life just allows you to pay forward, not pay back. And you can contribute to that by paying it forward to the next generation around you. I think it's a truly gratifying and a very happy space to be in.
It's beautiful, Ajay. I really like the whole concept of paying it forward. I think as industry professionals, I do feel that the one way that you can can actually create impact with others around you, especially, young upcoming leaders, is by actually helping them go through, some of the challenges, helping them overcome, their self-imposed barriers, because I think that's something which limits a lot of people. So the right mentoring tips that you give to people, a lot of times create a huge impact. And in a way, you're responsible for creating the right ecosystem for these people to also grow, right? It's like, providing the wind behind somebody's wings so that they can fly higher and they can, soar to the heights that, they should soar to. So I completely agree with you. So Dr. Ravi, we were talking earlier about, it being a nurturing two-way relationship. So a lot of people feel that, it's really the mentor's prerogative to take the mentoring relationship forward. What is your understanding, coming out of your experience? How does the whole nurturing in the relationship happen? How much time, energy needs to be vested by mentors or mentees?
Yeah, excellent question. And just want to acknowledge Ajay's comments. It's really beautifully described. It has to be a two-way relationship. So to answer your question here, it is a two-way relationship. It's not mentor-driven or the mentee-driven. But if you have to pick a side, it has to be mentee-driven, because my mentors, the people I work with, are extremely busy professionals. I don't expect them to follow up with me. I don't expect them to give me a call and see how I am doing. They might just do it out of the goodness of their heart, but I don't expect them to. So all of us, when we have the hunger to grow, when we have the hunger to learn, we have to hold ourselves accountable, and then nurture the relationship by keeping the mentors interested in your journey, right? If you talk to Indira Nooyi, and one of the biggest role models that India has produced, she always says mentors found her. And because you have to be worthy of other people's time, and because everybody has a certain amount of time in their life, like this half an hour, 1 hour I'm spending with you is gone for me and for you, for everybody. So we have to just recognize that, time is not money. Time is more than money. Money can be made, time cannot be made again. So we have to recognize that our mentor's time is extremely valuable. So you have to do the homework on your own as the mentee and make the most out of it. So you have to drive the relationship. And there will be instances when the mentors are so inspired by your mission, so inspired by your honesty, integrity, vulnerability, yeah, and that they might do a lot more than what they had signed up for. But that is what you have to earn. So I would say mentee driven, and mentors may do more than what they're supposed to, because they just enjoy spending those few minutes with you and seeing you flourish in your own garden. That's the key of what great mentors do. They help you flourish in your own garden by letting you see all the weeds around you that you may not see, because we all have weeds around us. We have blind spots and we don't see them. That's why they call the blind spots. Mentors, because they care about you, just like the farmer who cares about the plant, removes the weeds, the mentors can remove those blind spots for you. But ultimately, it has to be mentee driven for the reasons I just shared.
Okay. Thanks, Dr. Ravi. I completely agree. I think a lot of relationships tend to fall, especially during mentor-mentee interactions, because either the expectation setting is not clear upfront in terms of how much time and energy is going to be invested into this particular relationship, or for the lack of clarity around should the mentee be reaching out, should the mentor be reaching out. And I've seen a lot of very nice, good mentoring relationships really falling because either the mentee feels that it's not appropriate for me to reach out to my mentor, and because there might be a paucity of time. But I like the fact that you've clarified that it's all right for mentees to reach out and work with mentors, and also work around what they expect from the relationship, how much time they expect the mentors to spend with them, and it's not the other way around where the mentors will reach out to you, because at the end of the day, all of us have to be responsible for our growth, for our journeys, and that's the only way we make it to the next level. Mentors are really facilitators who are helping us get to our end goal. So Harish, let me ask you, if you were to talk about, let's say, 2 best practices that you've either seen good mentors, follow, or from your experience, you think two things that you want to, tell all the mentors in the world that these are two best practices, please do follow these. What would those two be?
I would say three.
Okay, three.
Respect, integrity, trust, and finally make him believe to move towards excellence. Unless there is respect, this relationship does not carry, move on. Respect for each other, for his time, for his value, for his contribution, for his listening. Integrity means you know better what is integrity. And lack of integrity shows up beautifully. And it is the trust which I look at more important. And you can see it coming on day one or never. It's all built. And finally, if together you choose to do this Fevicol in India, I don't know what they call it in the US, you are going to move towards excellence in this life. And you were born to win. I am reminded of that. And when each one of us accepts it, greatness is visible in them in this life. And as Les Brown says, you have something special in you. You have greatness within you. So show up, listen, learn, grow, and show up that you are meant for greatness and you have something special in you. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Thanks, Harish. I think respect, integrity, and trust, I think are very, very critical. And in a way, I would say they're not just the best practices, but the core values of being a good mentor. I think the minute somebody decides to become a mentor, I think this is really integral to their entire persona. This is what they should be thinking about and moving forward.
Rakhee, this is the qualifying point.
Exactly, the qualifying point.
You don't qualify unless you carry these on you and visible to you 24/7. You can wear your boots, you can wear your hats, you can wear your clothing, but this will show up the moment you open your mouth. And if you don't respect, don't move on. You know what? I must share this amongst the people who are listening and those who will listen to this. People don't pay you for all this. People look at you, the value you created in their life. By adding your wisdom, which you did not have, and you sought it from them, and then took ownership, and now you carry it with you that I own it. You know, when I was with Les Brown in Fort Lauderdale, I told him, Les, I've been using your one-liners for a long time without your permission. Pardon me and let me go ahead and use it. He said, Harish, you have the power to use all this because you own all this. Being a part of my life, you can go ahead and share it to the world. So taking ownership of that relationship is very important. And then today I'm speaking, and I've been speaking of all my gurus, Marshall Goldsmith, John Maxwell, Les Brown, Brad Sugars. At the top of my voice, I have become the person I have become because of them. And 25th of November, yesterday, I completed 38 years in leadership. And I'm so proud to share that. It is because of them I became the person who I am today. And I practice that every single day. That's why I write this word, abundant. Being abundant is not so easy because you have a scarcity mindset. And to move to abundance, you have to keep giving, giving, giving. And that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Thanks, Harish. I like this closing line that you use. We are pretty much on time because I want to leave a little bit of time for question and answers also. But before I do that, Dr. Ravi, I'm very intrigued. I really want to hear about that one mentee who's who eventually ended up going to MIT. So if you could take, very quick 1 or 2 minutes and just talk about him. I think it's a wonderful story. The team should hear it.
Absolutely. Thank you. Again, to be a mentor is a gift, because like Ajay was telling, as Harish was telling, it's such a joy to see other people shine. And I was at ISB, invited to give a talk, and I met this 16-year-old student who is visually challenged, from birth, and blind, as they say in India. In America, you're not supposed to say somebody is blind. But he walked up to me at about 10 p.m. in the night, and he came with about 100 other school children, and they all wanted to see the ISB campus. But he said, "Sir, I have seen it all. So can you stay with me?" And that was my first shock. How can this person see everything? And so all the other children went around to see ISB. He held my hand and said, "Sir, I heard you're from USA. In India, there is not much opportunities, but I want to go to MIT." And cut the long story short, I asked him to come to my house the next day in Hyderabad, and his enthusiasm, his prior interactions with Dr. Kalam, in the former president of India, really intrigued me that this person is not going to stop. So really, I reached out into my network, and I worked with him for the next few years, that we got him to, admitted into MIT. Some of us, including along with MIT, made sure he had the financial resources, and he graduated from Sloan School. We invested in his first company, and today he is a very successful entrepreneur. Now, this experience, like seeing him flourish in his own garden, has been the most joyful experience that led me to do what I do today. But even more importantly is, this experience taught me the difference between sight and vision. I have seen many blind people walking around in the world that don't have a big vision for their life. But here is a man who does not see things, but thankfully, he doesn't see all the unnecessary things. He sees where he wants to go. And I have seen him, worked with him very closely. And here is a mentee who taught me how to have a vision, and which does not mean you should have an eyesight. So it's been the greatest joy of my life.
Thank you so much for sharing that, Dr. Ravi. When I read about it, I just felt overwhelmed. To me, in one quick instance, I could see, you have the right mentoring, you have the right people behind you looking out for you and have their interest. Even the impossible is possible. So what an incredible story that is. And thank you so much for sharing that. So with that, I'll hold back on the individual question answer sessions. And I want to open this up for questions from the participants. And you can address it to either of the panelists, or if you think any one of us can answer it, then please go ahead and do that. Rajni, will somebody be helping us with the questions, or should I just look at the chat and see if there are any questions there? Okay, so there are some questions that I see in the chat, and let me pick the first one that I see over here. So for Dr. Ravi, the question is, what's the most important takeaway you want people to remember after reading your book?
That's a great question. Nobody has ever asked me that. One of my mentors say things like, when you meet somebody good, do you genuinely feel you miss this person in the past? Like, oh, I wish I met this person 10 years ago, or I wish this person 20 years ago. So when you read my book, I hope you will walk away saying, why did I not have mentors in my life up until now? And why did I not share my wisdom with somebody younger than me or older than me in an area? So I hope you walk away with that sense that I wish I did this, 10 years ago, 20 years ago. Don't wait. Surround yourself with good mentors and be a mentor to someone, because life is a bubble. It can go away any time. And whatever you hold here is going to turn into ashes or go underground. So might as well just share it.
Super. Okay, so the next one's for Ajay. What new skills and mindsets will be needed to lead effectively into the future when knowing all the answers is no longer a choice?
Fabulous question from Mubarak. And absolutely, coaches, mentors can never assume the position that they know it all. In fact, they are in the mode, or they need to be in the mode as facilitators, or if I can put it in a slightly different way, as priests in a temple who are just orchestrating that entire process for you. So I think the mindset that we need to have, both as a mentor slash coach or mentee slash coachee, is that we have, as human beings, we have all the capabilities that we need, to be able to answer every question that the life is going to throw at us, or every problem that life is going to put towards us. I think it's about how we develop a better awareness of ourselves to be able to see those capabilities within. For me, that's a very important mindset to develop, Mubarak.
Thanks, Ajay. I'm just referring to some of the questions that had come to us from the participants earlier. And Harish, you might want to take this one up. How can senior industry executives reach out to potential mentees? I mean, is there a format, a way? Is there how can one do that?
What do you mean by senior or junior? You need to give, and that shows up in your every single day. And Rakhee, remember, behaviors don't lie. If you're keen to give, the mentee is willing to receive. And as and when you want to give more, there are more people who will come up, would love to learn from you. Having done more than 90,000 people till now in the last 10 years, I feel people will remember you for what you gave them then, and they started doing it. It's the be, do, and have. The belief that I need to put more effort to get what I want, which I got in this session, or in the program, or in those 6 months, or in those 12 months. And my friend, senior or junior is no age. If you have something to give, just go and give. Because this world is hungry to learn and grow. If I chose to start giving it at 53 and learn the skill at 63, when I can wake up in the morning and speak on what you want to learn. So if you're keen to give, that means you have something to give, just go and give. Don't hold it and don't wait for the right person to come up. Today I see people doing live shows, just sharing with people, recording and sharing on YouTube on a particular subject which they are good at, which comes from here. And people will today, tomorrow, or day after would love to acknowledge that. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Thanks, Harish. I'd also like to add that IMA YLC mentorship program is one of the forums which is available to a lot of people who might not have direct access to industry leaders, who want to reach out to mentors, who want to become mentors. I think if you have any interest, any of our participants have an interest in either becoming a mentor or taking on a mentor, then please do go through our website, and you'll see that we have a lot of very highly recognized senior industry stalwarts who have been mentors for many, many years, and have mentored a lot of senior industry leaders as well. Please use the forum, and you can always reach out to us, through the IMA YLC forum if you are very keen and you want to look at a senior mentor, or you want to become a mentor. Like Harish said, it's an opportunity, where you can come in and work with other set of people as well. Okay, so I'm happy to see
I
there
want
are
to add
questions.
here. I want to add here. Does not mean that a person has been HR, he knows everything about HR. I have never been in HR. I've been a finance guy, and I've built massive people in my last 40 years. So, does not mean you are a head of HR, you carry everything. Head of HR could never become a CEO. A finance guy could always become a CEO. And that struggle is still there. So the perception that he's a specialist does not hold good. It's the passion with which he contributes to your growth, which is alignment with what you want. That's my story. And I'm sticking to it.
Super. We have last 1 or 2 minutes. So let me wrap up the session. It's been very, very invigorating, and it's been wonderful interacting with all of you. And in the end, I'd like to just sum up all the conversations we've had, that mentoring is a relationship where it's a great opportunity to pay it forward. A mentor is really somebody who thinks about you, about your career, about your growth when you're not aware, when you are literally, like Dr. Ravi said, sleeping. It's a relationship which is two-way, like Harish mentioned. It has to have integrity, there has to be respect, there has to be a trust. Mentees have to be as invested in the relationship as mentors are. And for mentors to bring the right impact, they really need to be available. They need to know their own blind spots and things that they are not aware of. And like Ajay was sharing, it's a wonderful relationship which is very invigorating for the mentor, because you're suddenly going back to a lot of wonderful things that you might have left behind. It takes you back into a different energy zone, and the value of interacting with positive young people who are vibrant and who want to make a difference also adds value to as a mentor. With that, let me very quickly just go around the room. Any last words from all of you on mentorship or mentoring? Dr. Ravi, we'll start with you.
Yeah, first of all, it's been wonderful to have this conversation. Um, uh, you know, imagine if a plant wants to grow, it cannot be indoors. It has to be outside because the sun is out there shining. So all of you who have the hunger to learn and grow have to reach out, have to go out there. If you're indoors, the sun or the mentor is not going to come search for you. You have to be out there. So feel free. There is enough sunshine out there. There's enough. And here's the thing we talked about, right? Nothing happens to the sun, but it's just a joy for the sun to see the plants grow, to see all of us thrive under the energy. So there are so many people out there. Don't underestimate the abundant human capital that's out there that is willing to help you. But it is up to you to reach out. So take advantage of all the goodness out there, and you leverage that with respect, with gratitude, to accelerate your own life career and achieve your true North Star, for which you are meant to be in this world. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Ravi. Harish, sir, last words from you.
I'm so happy and proud to listen to what Ravi said. There is sunshine, people know it. And yet they want it indoors at their comfort zone. Why? I traveled miles to USA 10 times to be trained, coached, mentored, and taught after investing thousands of dollars. I could have done that in my bedroom by listening to YouTube. But no, taking pictures with Marshall on his shoulders, with Brad Sugars, with Michael Lozier, with Tony Buzan, and all the great people is a joy, and John Maxwell. So you have to invest in learning, my friends. And when you invest, you can reap a great harvest, which will stay till your last breath. And I ask you an open question, all of you listening. How much do you invest every single day in growing yourself? Apart from growing your nails and your tummy and your hair. Do you invest on yourself to become a better person? A better husband, a better father, a better son? You know, when I asked this to Marshall Goldsmith, he said, I invested on my children for 2 years when they needed me. And when they grew up, they said, Dad, we need only 45 days of your year. So we need to invest in ourselves to grow, to become the person we were born to become, or continue to sleep and perish. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Thank you so much, Harish. Thank you. Ajay, last but not the least.
I think after those really inspiring closing statements from both Harish and Ravi, there is not much that I can add beyond the fact that mentorship is a beautiful relationship. If you culture it, you cultivate it with several people and not just one over a period of time. It can be both formal as well as informal, but look at really culturing this relationship on the three pillars that Harish mentioned: trust, integrity, and belief. And how you can really make the most of it and bake in that sunshine. I think that's the key takeaway that I'm also going to take that I'm going to take back from this session. So thank you so much for that, Ravi.
Thank you so much. You've been wonderful co-panelists. I've had a wonderful time today, and I've got food for thought. I'm definitely going to reach out to all of you separately to have my conversations. I think even after so many years, I do need some more mentoring. So that's my key takeaway. There is still room for me to grow and things to do. So thank you so much, Dr. Ravi. Thank you so much, Harish. And thank you so much, Ajay. Always a pleasure. And the link for Dr. Ravi's book is in the chat. So if you've been patient enough and stayed back to the end of the session, that's your gift from our side. Please do go through the book. And well, if you have any feedback to share, you can always get back to Dr. Ravi. I'm sure he'll be happy to hear back from you. And like I promised, we will be back with more sessions. If you want more details about YLC, mentorship program, I think Rajni's put up the details on the chat site as well, or just go to YLC mentorship program and you have all the details with you. Thank you so much. Stay safe and have a wonderful weekend, all of you. And thank you so much, Rajni, for putting this together. Bye-bye, everyone. Good night.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
thank you, thank you.
Have a great weekend. All the best.
Bless you with total abundance in life, total clarity, and communicate what you want to the universe, and you will get it as and when you desire, and make your desire a burning desire. It's waiting to be fulfilled. Bless you all. Thank you. Pleasure meeting you and being with all of you. Thank you. Bless you.
Thank you, Rakhee. Thank you for the wonderful moderation. Thank you.
Thank you, Ravi.
Bye.
Looking forward to chat with you again.
Of course.
You were brilliant as usual. I love it.
Oh, you too.
you.
Thank you. Thank you.